Equity is fundamental to coastal resilience because it deals with issues where different levels and different members of communities have different voice, they have different agency, they have different access to resources.
Well, we had a special emphasis in this workshop to be broad in our inclusion of different stakeholders.
The workshop included government, nonprofit, for-profit.
We have community organizations, faith-based organizations, and community members and residents themselves.
So having those conversations and understanding what's important to the communities themselves was something that was really highlighted.
Resiliency involves people, and it's hard to put numbers on people.
How do we as a society prepare for and respond to some of these changes and do it in an equitable way, do it in a fair way?
How do we plan for something beyond 30 years that is becoming increasingly a long-term disaster?
You have to have that connection to people's lived experiences.
How do we do that effectively? And what are the challenges and what are the barriers to doing that effectively?
There are angles that I did not even think about.
I'm Wee Youssef. I'm a professor in the School of Public Service at Old Dominion University, and I'm also the project lead for the team that organized this national workshop. Because we had researchers, academics, practitioners, government agencies, and funders, we were able to have a discussion about what works, what doesn't work, what are issues that communities face, what are issues that university partners might face in addressing these projects through these applied or engaged research projects.
So I look at it from the lens of what data we would need when we talk about equity and coastal resilience in communities. And so a lot of people tend to go towards the vulnerability indices. We have quite a bit of them that have been created over the years. And what we ended up finding is that at that national level, it doesn't tell the story of what's important to a community. From the geospatial research side of things, we look at it from people, places, and assets. But you need to take yourself away from that and not just put everybody in a broad brush of vulnerable, just because they may live in a vulnerable area. They themselves may not be vulnerable.
There could be inequities if funds are sent to a census tract where within the census tract, the risk is not distributed exactly the same. So what we're kind of revealing here is that even that scale may not be sensitive enough in quantifying who's benefiting from that investment.
The solution has to be really clear on what the need is. Otherwise, it's not a very good solution. So in order to do that, you need to meet the communities where they are.
We are not here to just, come and save everyone and then feel good about ourselves. All we need is just to provide those communities with the capacity, and they can do it themselves. Because they want to do it, they know how to do it, because they know their problems firsthand.
And that's the first step towards solving it, bringing people together, understanding the situation on the ground, and eventually creating actions based on the discussions from the different stakeholders.